Hey guys, it's Cerulean Jake bringing to you the next week of the VGC Pals Draft League. And in this episode, we are going against the Opelucid Oshawotts. So, what do we know about our opponent? Well, we take a look at their team, and well, this is Trick Room. No two ways about it. This is Trick Room. It's Trick Room always. If they don't get Trick Room, then I don't know what they're doing. So we're very much preparing for that. That's certainly true. But there are a couple other key threats that we do want to watch out for. I did go ahead and take a little look-see to figure out what the speed tiers were, and I think this is something that I want to go ahead and do going forward. Their fastest Pokemon they have is the Rotom Heat form, which is only like a mid-tier of speed. So given that we have some real speedsters on our team, we shouldn't really need to worry a whole lot about speed investment, and you'll see that when I start breaking down the team. But there are a couple other things that I wanted to key in on. Look out for some threats. So I wanted to look at that Gyarados, knowing that pretty much a majority of my team and draft is physical attackers. I wanted to be very careful around that thing because it's going to intimidate me. It's going to make my life harder. So I went out of my way to make sure that my team is very well prepped for it specifically. Now, I'm not always going to give that much credence to an intimidate user, but just in this matchup specifically, it really would have messed up my strategy. So I wanted to make sure that we were good to go. So with all that said, let's go ahead and take a look at the team. So first up, we have the number one answer. The number one answer for Trick Room, and that is Poltergeist. Yep, that's right. My 2-pointer was the very first Pokemon to make the team, and you can see why. It knows Trick Room, it knows Imprison. That's all it needs to know. But we also have the Hospitality to make sure that our kind of bulkier Pokemon are able to survive. But we also have the Rage Powder to ensure that our more important, like less bulky threats, stuff like Chin-Pow or maybe even Kilowattrel, are able to stay alive. So I went ahead with the Terra Water because of the Rotom Heat. We don't want to be taking an Overheat because as bulky as we are with the Eviolite, frankly, I don't think that we are going to live that. Now, this is only going to be important if Poltergeist is uniquely positioned to be extremely important in a given battle. If we are in a situation where Poltergeist has kind of done its job, then I will probably just let it go down. But that's mainly what this is here for, is shutting down Trick Room. That said, as we started to plan, I kind of figured maybe this should be the backup plan. So this isn't going to be my lead. This is not going to be my immediate answer to Trick Room. This is potentially going to be something that I have put in the back, ready to shut it down if it doesn't work out our first plan. Speaking of our first plan, though, we're going to be leading off with Dragonite. Now, Dragonite is an extremely powerful Pokemon if you have been playing in the Scarlet and Violet meta for a while now. This thing just kind of came out of nowhere ever since Terrestrialization, and I think today we're going to show off why. Primarily, the number one thing that you see from this thing, and is honestly the easiest way to use it, is the Terra Normal Extreme Speed. It just does so much damage, and it's so hard to keep up with being a +2 priority bracket. We just slap a Choice Band on this thing, and it does unbelievable damage. If you take a look at the calcs, it really is just, it's so hard to deal with. That said, it's not invincible by just clicking Extreme Speed. There are plenty of ways to counter this. Obviously, it can't hit ghost types, so we do need some coverage. So I went ahead and decided to put some coverage moves on it that pretty well cover for some of the Pokemon that we might be seeing here. We, of course, have the Fire Punch for the Brute Bonnet. We have Fire Punch for the Brute Bonnet if we are in a situation where we need to do that. We have Iron Head for the Sylveon, which does do more damage. Typically, we're probably going to be just fine clicking Extreme Speed against it, but if we're in a situation where it needs to be O-Code, then we'll probably elect for the Iron Head. And then finally, we have that waterfall to deal with, of course, the Rotom Heat, but also there was another one. Hold on. I'm not looking at the team right now. Was right here. Apologies. Ah, yes, Ting-Lu. Ting-Lu was the primary point of this waterfall, and honestly, I'm kind of shocked that I forgot about it. Ting-Lu is going to be a really big threat to deal with, not in the sense that it does just so much damage, but in the sense that the thing is just kind of impossible to bring down. It's really, really tough. So the waterfall, when I ran the calcs, so long as it's not terastallized into something else, waterfall does do a good bit of damage to it. Not to mention, we're threatening flinches, and since it will be going after us, it's pretty nice. I decided on Inner Focus for the ability because not only does Inner Focus prevent flinching from the fake out that we'll be getting from the Hariyama, but also we are not intimidated by the Gyarados. It's one of the many ways that I decided to deal with the Gyarados. Speaking of other ways that we're going to deal with the Gyarados, this is not our partner lead with Dragonite. We'll get to that later. For now, I'm going to talk about Kilowattrel. Kilowattrel has competitive. So every time that your stats are lowered, you raise your special attack by 2 stages. This is a huge threat to the Gyarados that if it is on the team, I will invariably be bringing Kilowattrel to the battle. If I do not see Kilowattrel, there's a huge chance that I won't be bringing this thing. Now, what exactly am I hoping to accomplish with this setup here? So, Covert Cloak is mainly just so I don't get faked out, because I want to be able to immediately put on some pressure. We have Thunderbolt and Air Slash, and that's primarily what we're going to be doing. We're going to be Thunderbolting the Gyarados. We'll be Air Slashing pretty much a lot of stuff here, particularly the Brute Bonnet, to just get it out of the way. Volt Switch is just here so I can pivot a lot easier, and Protect is an obvious choice. Ultimately, we went Terra Stellar, not because I think it's ever going to come out, but it makes my opponent respect the sudden amount of damage that I can do with Kilowattrel, and that's realistically all I'm wanting from this thing. I want it to threaten the Gyarados and then just be a damage threat afterward. So next up we have the Scizor. Now, Scizor doesn't really have a way to combat Intimidate, and it is one of the Pokemon that is unfortunately just going to have to deal with it. Because I wanted this thing to have AV and be able to live some of the more threatening hits, say, like, I know we resist Sylveon, but Sylveon does do a good bit of damage. It is a powerful Pokemon. I want to be able to survive that with Flying Colors, so I'd be able to switch into it. There is also the potential, I want to say that Bronzong is a mixed attacker, so if Bronzong decides to go for a special attacking set, I want to very easily be able to switch into that. There's just no world that we're going to be living a Rotom Heat Overheat, so I'm not really worried about that. That said, if I decide to commit the Terra, then we definitely can. We can turn into a water type, we can resist it, and the Assault Vest is going to bring down that damage. Now this is a double-edged sword because Rotom Heat is of course an electric type, and we will just have to call that they're not reading the Terra. It's primarily why I'm not really wanting to click Terra Water, but regardless, this is what I went with. So Technician, of course, is the move that I have, or not the move, the ability I've selected here. If you take a look at it, Scizor doesn't really have any other abilities that are particularly amazing, and it just works so well. It's so good. Bullet Punch, of course, is just an amazing amount of damage and does well, super well into the Sylveon. I believe it OHKOs it. It's been a little bit since I ran my calcs. But of course we have the Close Combat for the Ting-Lu, that's another huge threat. We have Bug Bite for the Brute Bonnet, and Dual Wing Beat also just is pretty good damage across the board. Hariyama is another thing that we're threatening with that. Overall, this is a very powerful set. We just can't easily deal with the Intimidate, and if we're looking at a Gyarados, there's a decent chance that we don't bring this. Now, if we want to talk about our other lead to go with Dragonite, we are going to be leading the Chien-Pao Dragonite mode. So, our objective here is to simply output as much damage as possible with one caveat. if you take a look, we have Taunt. Now, this is exactly why I am leading the Chen Pao. You see, there's one aspect I forgot to change about this. Whoops. I thought I was ready. I'm glad I caught this. This is supposed to be safety goggles. So, the Chen Pao, its job is to ensure that the Trick Room does not get set up. Now, of course, Taunt can be thrown off by a Mental Herb. And if it does, then we kind of just have to deal with it, which we can, because Dragonite does have Terra Normal Extreme Speed. It is going to hit like a truck, and it does not care about Trick Room. Chen Pao would be a little more shit out of luck in that case, but that's what we have Poltergeist for. If we see game 1 that we are dealing with a Mental Herb, then we can very easily make the adjustment to be a Poltergeist lead to shut down that Trick Room. So what are our moves here? We have Ice Spinner. This is not because we're dealing with any terrain. I'm taking Ice Spinner because this feels like a really safe match to me. I feel like I have a really good matchup into this team, and I just don't want to risk it on stupid misses. So Ice Spinner it is. We're just going to go a little bit less on the damage. And then Throat Chop has a particularly important job here. You see, Chen Pao isn't threatening an Oko on a bulky Sylveon. So, what Throat Chop does, even though it won't do a ton of damage, it is going to disable Hyper Voice, which is really, really big, because I know that this Sylveon is going to want, above anything else, to click that Hyper Voice. So that's how we're going to shut it down. I decided to go Terra Poison for the defensive Terra typing. Obviously, if we're standing in front of a Sylveon, then we're at threat, so we want to be able to live it, which, with the bulk investment that we did, we actually do. Moving right along to our final pickup, I noticed that while Scizor has an amazing matchup into this team, Ceruledge kind of does too. Ceruledge is pretty good here. So Ceruledge is the one that has picked up my Clear Amulet and is therefore able to get around that pesky Intimidate. What we're trying to do here is we are trying to set up and sweep. Now that's really hard in doubles because you kind of need to be able to cover for your partner. But if there's anyone that can do it, I think Ceruledge can. I think it is uniquely positioned to be able to do it here. With Flash Fire, we are of course able to switch in on Overheats and just soak it right up. As I have already said, our Clear Amulet is going to soak up those Intimidates and not care whatsoever. Bitterblade and Poltergeist are going to be our stab damage, and they really wreak havoc on this team. Bronzong, Brute Bonnet, Vikavolt, all of those taking super effective just from my stabs. And then if we stack on top of that our Terra Blast to be able to deal with the Ting Lu once it comes out, we're actually in a pretty good situation. And as I calced it, Sword Stance almost threatens a one-hit KO on your typical Ting Lu sets. Or Sword Dance Terra Blast. I don't know if I said that properly. So any level of chip on the Ting Lu is just going to guarantee that I just Oko it with a single Sword Dance boosted Terra Blast. It's a really threatening set. Ting Lu also just doesn't do anything to Ceruledge after I Terrastalize. So I think we're pretty well set up to do some good damage here. Of course, whatever damage we take, we just heal right off with the Bitterblade. And all the Pokemon that we are not able to deal super effective damage against, Bitterblade or Poltergeist can just do very solid damage. I don't know if you know this, but Poltergeist has a base 110 power. Yes, it's 90% accuracy and it fails with no item, but wow, what a step up from Shadow Claw. This thing just, there is a reason that the moment Poltergeist got added to the game, Ceruledge spiked up to OU in singles. And hopefully I can prove that here. I do intend to bring this in game 1 if I don't see anything that immediately alarms me to, oh, Ceruledge shouldn't come to this. So that's the team. There is one last thing I want to establish as we go through our sets here, because I'm betting some of you were looking at the EVs and thinking, what the hell are you thinking? So, particularly someone like Kilowattrel or Chenpao, who has minimal to no speed investment. These things are speedsters. Why are we putting no speed into them? Well, actually, that's because I did the exact calculation of how fast Rotom Heat can possibly get, max speed plus a nature that boosts it. And Chenpao with no investment and Kilowattrel with only 52 points of investment, speed creep it. We don't need to invest everything in speed, and we just outspeed this whole team. There are a couple other key threats that I decided to outspeed with specific investments. I believe Ceruledge was set up to outspeed the Gyarados, because Gyarados, so long as I Terrastalize in front of it, cannot OHKO me with something like a Waterfall. I'd be able to get a free Swords Dance and then just kill it with Poltergeist. Obviously, though, I'm not wanting to take 2 hits from Gyarados. So that's the point of that speed tier. A lot of these have very specific speed tiers in mind, so you just got to trust the process. But with that, I think we are done with the team builder. I really, really liked how this one turned out, so that is why I went so into depth. I know I'm usually a talker anyway, so I'm sure you're used to it. But yeah, let's not waste any time. Let's get into the battle. Double check, make sure my recording's good. Looks like it. Good to go. Alrighty. Now what do we got? We do have the Gyarados. Yep, to U2. U2. They have requested no timer because they are in a mobile situation. Some Pokemon I was not really expecting to see. I was really expecting the Sylveon because it looked like this person was putting a lot of pressure on that Sylveon. But that's okay. Not seeing it is perfectly fine. So I think we're just going to start out with the typical lead, and we can easily pivot if we need to. We're going to go the Chenpao Dragonite. And we want Kilowattrel on the back thanks to this jerkwad. But we also look like Ceruledge just kind of dominates this entire match. So I want to bring Ceruledge. If we struggle with Trick Room, ultimately, then we will just grab the Poltergeist in the next game. So let's do it. All good. I'm flexible. So just let me know if something goes wrong in Discord. Chenpao Dragonite, Rotom, and Bronzong. So, very well could be the incoming. This could be the incoming Trick Room. Now, of course, I want to go ahead and run a calc real quick because I don't remember them off the top of my head. We're going to take a look at the Rotom Heat. This is a max speed version. We annihilate it with a Waterfall. Are we faster than it? No, we're not. The thing that I'm worried about is if I get burned. I don't want to get burned on like a Will-O-Wisp or something. That would be very, very rough. So we can just go the Terra Normal Extreme Speed. We do have a small percentage chance to kill. Oh, wait. This doesn't have Sword of Ruin marked. We kill it if it is no bulk investment. Very well should be bulk invested, so we do want to be careful there. We're going to go for that taunt, of course. The White Herb could come up, and that would suck, but we will definitely learn something in that case. We're gonna go Terra Normal Extreme Speed. We may end up dying to like a Heavy Slam or something. That would be interesting. There's the Ghost. Oh, I should have looked. I was not paying attention. Dragon, Ghost. There's the Willow. Terra Rock. We blocked iron defense. Interesting. Okay. So now Dragonite is not in a good position. I got so caught up in wanting to do a damage calc that I forgot that I actually have Terras here. So we know that we're dealing with Terra Ghost at this point, but I was hoping that maybe some of this would... Whoa, no. I was hoping that some of this would kind of tell me what their sets are. So we do know that you're going to be a body press set. We do see that. So weirdly enough, I think I would just want to go into the Ceruledge Edge here. Because if you go for the body press, then I blanket. If you go for a Will-O-Wisp, then I blanket. So seems like a really good switch here. We're going to go into it. But we also want to switch out the Dragonite, because Dragonite literally can't do anything anymore. Oh, damn. Wait. Are you Scarf? Scarf Willow? Interesting. I think it might be Scarf Willow. We did Terrasilize, so we don't have the perfect matchup into Gyarados anymore, unfortunately. So what we want to do here is... I could go back out into the Dragonite, since it's not going to be my greatest pickup anymore. I know it's a lot of dead air, but I'm just trying to think all of my plays through here. So, I mean, I could just go straight up for the kill on Bronzong. We are very well positioned here to do a lot of good damage, especially since thus far we have not seen the Tinglu. I do have a good feeling that it will be in the back since it's just such an annoying and powerful Pokemon. That I do want to go ahead and kind of save. Let's go ahead and go into the Dragonite. This is a pretty obvious call on the Thunderbolt, so I feel like I actually kind of want to go for the Thunderbolt on the Bronzong. Get some good damage in on it. That goes into Tinglu. That's interesting. Okay. So I mean, we are burned, so this isn't going to do nearly as much. However, it's about the best damage that we're going to get, so we're going to go for the Waterfall, and we're just going to. It has Levitate, so I mean it always has Levitate. So no matter what you switch into here, it's going to get hit with an electric attack. So I think we just want to go for a Volt Switch. Because surely you're not staying in. Surely. Ah, the Protect. So the Tinglu might just go ahead and finish it off with like a Rock Slide or something. Flinched. Nice, perfect. Now your Protect is blanked. I'm going to go for Thunderbolt this time because they know that I want to Volt Switch. Actually, you still have to switch. You still have to switch. Because Volt Switch will threaten you. Yep. So there comes the Bronzong. We get the hell out of there. Nice little critical hit. Makes us feel nice and cozy inside. We are going to go for... I think we go for the Qianpao. This is going to give us a little bit more damage on the Tinglu. If it is a rock move, then that's going to suck. But it allows me to at least... We're trying to remove the Tinglu right now, is what we're trying to do. Get some good damage on it. There comes the Rock Slide. Take some big damage with their critical hit. Go ahead and go for that Waterfall. We did 38%, so this is threatening a kill now. And we could just go for the Throat Chop on the Bronzong. That might not kill now. Yeah, that Intimidate blocked it. There's the Citrus Berry. Good to know. There's the Trick Room. Interesting. Okay. I kind of just assumed that that wasn't your plan anymore. It's a good call. We do have Protect on the Chin Pal, so we do get to stall for a little bit. Dragonite really just isn't doing a whole lot at this point, and we're kind of ready to just get rid of it. I know we still don't have a lot of ways to deal with Ting Lu, but it is really low. So we go for the... Ting Lu wasn't healing from like leftovers, was it? Nope. Okay. So I think what we're going to go for... We just want to get as much damage as in. We want to remove this Bronzong if we can. We're going to go for the Protect. There's the Iron Defense. We kind of assumed that was coming out. Do 10%. Earthquake. We do not get knocked out, but the burn will do it. Okay. So next up, we want to bring in the Kilowattrel. Unfortunately, not the position we were wanting to be in. They're pivoting around really, really well. Because at this point, like, I don't know which one. I think that Bronzong wants to stay in and just kill the Kilo. So we go ahead and we Protect to stall out more turns of that Trick Room. We don't have priority on Chin Pao, unfortunately. Let's go for... Have I revealed Protect on Kilo? I don't think I did. Regardless, this Chin Pao will go down, so it'll be a double. I have to Protect. It's just a really tough situation we're in. Ooh, that was a really good call for us. We get a lot of good damage in on the Bronzong. It is very, very low now. That Iron Defense, though, is really going hard. I believe at this point, this is where the body presses are going to start coming out. So what we can very easily do, we could switch the Kilowattrel, but the Waterfall's coming. That's what we don't want to lose Cerule Edge. We've already revealed that that's what we brought. We're trying to keep that Cerule Edge very well positioned. And if we can get the Bronzong out, then we are at least decently positioned. We don't have the Terra, which is a little sad. I feel like we really need to be saving Terra for Cerule Edge. He's the guy, like he's the man of the hour. I can go for a double Protect. It's unlikely to happen, but at this point, we're just trying to stall as many turns of Trick Room as we can. And I don't feel like we're getting a chance to attack with Kilowattrel again. We fail to Protect. Chin Pao, of course, gets it. Here comes the Body Press. Gyarados goes for the Waterfall. And we have to bring in the Cerulege. Now we have one turn of Trick Room left. Now, I want to know, how does, not Waterfall, Gyarados, your Terra Steel, I'm not necessarily assuming bulky, but you could be, I guess. It's killing. Unfortunate. Yeah, I think we're kind of shit out of luck for game one. Because I wasn't expecting that Trick Room to come up. So, I mean, we're just going to go for the Poltergeist. And I will once again go for a double Protect, I guess. Because I don't have much of a choice. I actually got it that time. There's the Dragon Dance. Ooh, this might be the swing that we need. Here comes the Poltergeist. Knocks it out. Okay, so what are you going to bring in? The Ting Lu is low. Rotom Heat. Okay. So, I imagine you're faster than me. I just don't know what you're hoping to do to me. I mean, you could protect, obviously, but this Bronzong is at threat. Oh, but you are... I do think you're Scarfed. So, I think you're outspeeding my Chien-Pao is the thing. So, weirdly enough, I kind of need to attack Bronzong. Because you outsped, right? At the very... Turn 1. Turn 1, you outsped me. Dragonite, and then Rotom used Will-O-Wisp. And if we look at it... If we go Chien-Pao, and then we go Rotom... I really hope I didn't do my math wrong here. Rotom Heat. At max speed plus Timid, you just can't outspeed me. So, yeah. You're Scarfed. Yeah, we have to kill the Bronzong, because if Trick Room goes up, it's game. So we're going to do that. And Chien-Pao is just going to go down. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. I guess I am bulky, so I could I could pray. Nah. We kind of figured. Here comes the Ting-Lu. We knock out the Bronzong. Now here's the thing. Ting-Lu is lowering special attack, which is good for us. So I want to look at... So first off, let's just check Ceruledge here. What do we do in terms of damage? Obviously, Poltergeist is looking great here. Not a guaranteed Oko, which is sad, but that's fine. The Thunderbolt is unfortunately killing us. I don't think that there's a road to victory here. Ting-Lu. Just click the very first one. Yeah, my best damage here is Bitter Blade. I mean, we'll heal a little bit, but I don't think it's enough to live the incoming. Here's Trick. Oh, it seems that we're done here because it's giving me this button. It was not enough, so it's probably very, very physically invested. Did I take... No, I didn't. I don't know what this thing's item is. Okay, so... We were able to successfully taunt it. We know that it's Citrus Berry. We saw that go off. Weirdly enough, I kind of just want to lead this Ceruledge. If we go Chien-Pao, we can still taunt. Ceruledge can pretty easily set up a Sword Stance and just Terrastalize in front of pretty much whatever comes out. So that looks good. Still want to bring the kill on the back to be able to deal with Intimidates. But who comes next? It's either Poltergeist or Dragonite, because I don't think that Scizor really goes hard here. It can. It certainly can. Is it the way over Dragonite, maybe? Because it does better into Ting-Lu, which is a threat for us. We struggle with the Rotom Heat, and we are wanting to Terrastalize this Ceruledge, so we'd have to be playing very, very carefully. Yeah, I kind of like Scizor here. Let's go for it. Rotom Heat, Bronzong. Funny enough, I actually think that you're not gonna... I think you're just gonna try to kill Chien-Pao because you know what's happening. If you do go for Trick Room, then we kind of just lose is the thing. Maybe that's... I should have brought Poltergeist. I really should have. I guess the Rotom Heat would have been threatening it, so there is that. No truly perfect answer. Here's what I think is happening. I think that you can't burn me, so I think you want to go for an overheat and just kill the Chin-Pao. Bronzong will go for Trick Room, which means there's no manner in which that I can actually stop the Trick Room from happening. Because I know that you outspeed, I know you're choiced. I also know that you have Trick. So I can't really Swords Dance in front of you either, which means I need to just go for damage. So let's go ahead and we can just double into the Bronzong. Chin-Pao may go down. We hope that it doesn't. Actually, with Poltergeist being boosted from Bronzong, Body Press, Trick Room, Rule Edge, Sword of Ruin is active. Poltergeist just kills it. So you know what we could do? Is we could very, very easily just click Protect, Poltergeist, and kill the Bronzong. Okay. We knew that was a possibility that you could switch. Volt Switch. Poltergeist comes out, does some really good damage. Doesn't finish it off, but that's okay. We know that you're locked into Volt Switch now, which is really good for us. We also know that Gyarados cannot be choiced, so everything on the field is faster than Gyarados. So what we're looking to accomplish here, at this point, since you're locked, I can very easily just get a Swords Dance here and kill the Gyarados. So whatever comes in, we don't really need Throat Chop because there's no... I guess if the Bronzong comes back in, then we do want it being Throat Chopped. So we'll do that. And then I am going to just get a free Sword Stance here. There's the Ting-Lu. Ting-Lu is Terra what? Terra Steel. You're probably not wanting to do that in front of my Rule Edge. I think what you're wanting to do is you're wanting to Earthquake. Which makes a lot of sense. I, of course, know that you are threatening Chin-Pao again with outspeeding me. Ooh. But since you got the kill, you came back in, now you're... I see what's happening here. I do see what's happening here. I want to go for Ice Spinner and try to out the Ting-Lu. Here's the thing, Rotom is the one that really needs to go down. And we're kind of running out of ways to do it, is the issue. So I feel like you're going to trick me your Choice Scarf. Am I okay with that? Honestly, maybe. Very much maybe. So I'm going to go for the plan. And if I get tricked, then obviously I will need to switch next turn. There's the overheat. Okay, interesting. Terra Blast comes out, almost grabs the kill. At this point, our best option here, I think we bring in the Kilowattrel. Because Ting-Lu dies to pretty much anything. And we're just not wanting to die to that overheat. So we can go ahead and drop the Air Slash into this spot, and we can drop a Poltergeist right here. We know that you were choiced into the Overheat. So you have to either switch or just be stuck on Overheat. There's the Overheat. We don't take a ton of damage from that. There's the Air Slash. Take care of the Ting Lu. Poltergeist comes out, does crazy damage, and that is going to be the game. They forfeit. I don't think you're supposed to forfeit. I think you're supposed to play it out, but that's okay. That maybe I'm just remembering rules from like when I'm watching Poke-Game, because I know you're not supposed to forfeit in those draft leagues. Okay, I feel like you know when I'm going, and you're gonna try to change your... I think you're gonna try to change your leads. I kind of want to bring the Poltergeist this time, because it still locks out the Trick Room. We still lock out the Trick Room this way. We bring Cerule Edge. We can easily Terrasilize in front of whatever and be fine. We bring Chen Pao in the back. Not necessarily to stop Trick Room, but just because it's going to enable our damage dealing. And then we could... What we could do is we can leave the Kilowatt Roll at home, because what I notice is that once Gyarados is gone, it's kind of just not offering me anything. I feel like Scizor comes. There's Brute Bonnet. There's Bronzong. Perfect, perfect, perfect. We just get a very, very simple Imprison. I mean, you could try to crunch me. I haven't actually done this. Hold on. Brute. I'm just going to assume offensive support. Sucker Punch does plenty of damage, but I'm not going to be doing that, so let's just assume that you have Crunch. You don't kill me on a Crunch. Okay, and that's assuming that you're this set, which is no attack investment. If you are attack investment, you do kill me, unfortunately. So that does suck. But I really just want to believe that you went Sucker Punch. I really want to believe that. So I'm going to go for the Imprison. And then I'm going to Terrasilize, and I think this is just the freest Sword Stance of my life. Because I don't know what you do to me, like from either one of your perspectives. Okay, here comes the Ting Lu. Terrifier. I get a Sword Stance. We Imprison. You went for Iron Defense. Fair enough. We knew that was a possibility, but we're perfectly fine with it. Now, what are we going to go for? Obviously, that Iron Defense is getting stronger and stronger, so we do have to be careful of it, and we kind of just want to go ahead and out that as soon as possible. So we're going to go for the Rage Powder, and then we're going to go for as much damage as we can on the Poltergeist. We won't be able to Poltergeist it forever, is the thing, because it is the Citrus Berry. It's less damage than I was hoping to get. Body Press. Yep, we were predicting that. Perfect. Next up, I'm seriously doubting how much damage. Let's go Bronzong. Body Press Trick Room. I mean, Terra Electric's basically the same thing. Let's assume that you are Terrasilize. How much does Foul Play do? Foul Play actually does a good bit. Actually does do a good bit. So, speed-wise, I'm at 50. You're at 33. We do outspeed you. So we could very easily just click Foul Play. Wait, when does Citrus Prick? When does that proc? Citrus Berry. It restores, yeah, it's when you're at half. So it's gonna proc, is the thing. We don't really have a choice in the matter. So I think we just have to Rage Powder. Or alternatively, this is another option. Let's go into Chin Pow and then Poltergeist. We missed it. Wow. That may have just sealed the game right there. It very well may have sealed the game because this is just getting a Trick Room now. Oh man, how are we dealing with this? Your Terra Fire. So you're resisting both of Scissor's major attacks. Okay. Go here. You're at +2. Close combat is my... No, you're terrestrialized into a fire type. Dual Wing Beat actually does equal damage to close combat. And it's a lot safer. But we're still only doing 20%. Which is not nearly enough. Yeah, I think it might just be game from that. That's kind of rough, losing to a miss. Wow. I mean, it's the risk we run, unfortunately. I'm not... They can taunt is the thing. It's just that they know that. Okay, so I think our biggest option here, we automatically, like, we have to just risk losing the Chen Pao because we don't have a choice. I think we have to go for taunt to make sure that the Trick Room doesn't come out. So really our only chance of just getting through this, and we have to go for the close combat followed by a switch into Poltergeist to reset our defense drops. Unfortunately, we didn't even get the kill. It was Earthquake. We take a lot of damage from that. And then you Gyro Ball the Chen Pao. So yeah, we don't even get to swap. Do get a Hospitality, which is neat, but you know, what does that do? Again, we saw that Foul Play is doing like... it's not even going to do that much because I had the... Or no, I didn't have it checked at the time. I don't think. You are taunted, so you're not getting Trick Room no matter what. I could have just called that you're not going to Trick Room. Maybe that was the play. I'm trying to play safe is the thing. And safe might not be the way that I need to play right now. You have nothing but spread moves. So if I'm going to do a Rage Powder, I'm just trying to get the Bronzong to hit me. That's the main thing. So we're going to do that. And then Ground Resist Bug, as I recall. It still does do like a pretty good bit of damage, even without that. And that way we're not losing even more defense. Though I think at this point we're one shot from anything. I'm a little scared because Sucker could be like the end of me with Brute Bonnet. Only 50%. Brute. I am -1 on defense. Sucker Punch does 41 to 49. It can very well kill, and I just would not have the gas to kill the Bronzong at that point. That's the thing I'm worried about, is this Bronzong is just sitting. It's just sitting here. There's nothing I can do about it. I mean, we have to keep doing Rage Powder to make sure that the Bronzong doesn't hit us. That's what we're going to go for. But of course, we're going to go for the Bug Bite. We are AV, so no matter what, we're attacking. Interesting, a double switch. Trying to waste as many turns as you can so you'll eventually kill my Poltergeist. How much are you dealing? 15? So I have 2 more of those in me. Are you going to switch again is the issue. Vikavolt. I mean, Bug Bite is actually my most damaging move, which is funny. I dealt 49. That's a shame. Yeah. Vikavolt goes down, which is cool, but so does Poltergeist, and now it's game. Because this Gyro Ball is about to do a lot of damage. Yeah, and there's the sucker. Man! That's frustrating. Man, that took a turn for the worse the moment that Poltergeist came by. I already know kind of what went wrong here, though. Brute Bonnet had Rocky Helmet. That's good information to have. Yeah, I know what went wrong there. The moment that happened, I had to get aggressive about it. I had to start making some calls, and I did not do that. But we'll talk about it more later. So, see you in a minute. So, once again, we are here talking about what happened, and I'm again in a position where I don't necessarily want to... I don't want to get into any nitty-gritty of the same thing I said last episode, where, oh, well, on turn 3 of game number 2, I should have clicked this instead of that, and that would have changed the whole thing. Instead, I kind of want to talk about more broad strokes of what I could have done to sort of reverse, because we know what happened in both game 1 and game 3, what kind of put me on the back foot and what I needed to do. So we know that in game 1, I was dumb. I didn't look at the Terras. That's my fault. Could have read the Terra Ghost, but didn't see it. So definitely that's a place you can improve of, hey, maybe, I don't know, just look at the information that is readily given to you. Then the other thing that I could have done in game 3 is, not could have done, this one was just sheerly luck, is missing that Poltergeist. So, I mean, if I'm going to do anything about that, then it's... I'd better prepare for what could happen. I mean, that's sort of just how Pokemon works. You know you're going to miss sometimes, and it's going to really suck. So, broader strokes, what should I have done when I got into those positions? I think maybe what would have helped me is when you're on the back foot, you can either safely lose or you can play risky and try to win. And I kept defaulting to a state of safe plays that never really afforded me any advantage. So for example, once I got the Scizor in game 3, I kept making a bunch of safe plays. Never read a switch, never read a protect, I just kept clicking the button. and this was even after I had said I need to maybe play risky. It's just sort of my default mode of trying to play as safe as I can. I don't like going for predictions because I'm not confident enough that my predictions are going to be correct. There comes a time where you kind of just need to say, well, it has to happen. I have to make a prediction because it's now or never. So I think that's what we could have done. Another major blunder I did was immediately committing the Terra on the Terra normal Dragonite. In all fairness, I thought it would have been good. But I very quickly identified that Cerulean Edge was going to be great, and that Terra Grass was going to be an amazing option for me, and I just didn't do it. I was just like, well, I mean, Terra normal extreme speed does a lot of damage, so just click it. So maybe thinking those things through, identifying my win cons, and instead of immediately abandoning them, just really focusing on them, doing what I said is going to help me win the game. It's one of those things where you kind of get into, I don't want to call it a flow state because that implies that you're doing good. If you've ever played a game where you've played it 1,000 times, you kind of get into this state where you're not really thinking about it. So like for me, that'd be like League of Legends, right? I get to a point where League is not a particularly like thought-provoking game for me because I'm not thinking about it. I'm just kind of autopilot playing. That's sort of what I did there, is I didn't think through, how do I maneuver my win con into a winning position here? I kind of just told myself, well, this sounds good, so click it. So we need to avoid that going forward. That is a manner in which I can improve. Of course, whenever you sit here and talk about all the things you could have done better that maybe would have helped you win, it sort of comes off almost like you're taking away the win from your opponent. By no means am I doing that. I, of course, congratulate my opponent. They played well. They did lots of good pivoting, lots of good predicting. So yeah, I don't want to take any of that away. I very much respect my opponents here. I just want to note that there are ways in which, if I would have played better, I think that I can have taken that game, and knowing what I did wrong is going to help me into the future. So with that said, taking a look at our next opponent, we have, I had it pulled up here, Mollusk with the Sacramento Slagoos. I know that this is actually a really, really tough team, and we just lost into a team that I felt really, really well matched up into. Next week is gonna be a doozy, so I'll see you then.
Hold it!
Just a second. We have one last thing that we need to talk about. So, I've actually made a change to my roster. Now, unfortunately, you're not allowed to just pick up random Pokemon and add them throughout the season. No, you still need to remain within your allotted points. So, with that in mind, I had to bid farewell to one of our drafted friends here, and that is Hydrapple. Now, that's not to say I don't have faith in Hydrapple. I actually do. Unfortunately, Hydrapple just isn't offering what we need, and I have a very specific niche that is not being filled by our team. You see, as it stands, we only have one Pokemon that knows Taunt, and that is Chinpao, who has a very pronounced job that he's attempting to fulfill. And he can't do that if he's spamming Taunt all the time. So with that in mind, I need a Pokemon who can not only fill Hydrapple's role as a grass type that actually deals some damage, but also a Pokemon that can use Taunt. So who would that be? Well, I have dropped Hydrapple and picked up Iron Leaves. That's right, this is a bit of an oddball pick. You see, most people don't use Iron Leaves because it's not that good. But for my purposes, I think it's going to work out. If you take a look at the stats, I actually think that this is a pretty decent Pokemon that just hasn't found the right niche. And for me, it's kind of fulfilling what I need. We won't really be able to take good advantage of that signature move Psyblade thanks to no electric terrain setters, but that's fine. I think that this Pokemon can stand alone, and I really look forward to using it. Will it come to the next game? Well, let's find out. Onward to Week 3.